Jack Spade back here with you, High Noon Leatherworks, for another leather adventure. And today, I'm going to try something totally new, totally different. And I got something new for Christmas, and I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to try it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to laser engrave some leather. So we're going to do a little project today on the laser engraver, see how it works out, see what happens, see how it turns out in the end, and then we'll move on from there and see what else we can do with it. So come on in and let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to start with telling you the type of laser engraver I got. It's called a Two Trees is the brand name. Got it off Amazon. It was, I'm going to say, between $200 and $250. Not super difficult to put together. The written instructions or directions that come with it, a little difficult to follow, but there's several good videos on putting that together on YouTube, and that's finally where I went, and I just followed along with the YouTube videos on how to put it together, and it worked out great. So I think with the written directions there may be a translation thing going on there, I'm not sure, but fairly simple to put together once you follow those YouTube videos. It's pretty straightforward on how it works. It comes with a download for free software called Gerbl, G-R-B-L. So it is totally free to use. It's pretty straightforward software to use, pretty simple. You just download, go to File, download the image, or open the file, put the image in there. It works with JPEGs, PNGs. Those are the two that I've used. Excuse me. Those are the two that I've used so far very successfully. It's got a center button, corners, frames. It's got all the arrows over on the corner down here. If you want to move it manually, what I do is I'll open up my image and go ahead and get it sized the way I want it, and that'll take you through that. As you open that image, it'll pop up and it'll ask you, do you want it a line image, a photograph, so on, and then what size you want it. It is in millimeters, but I just get on my phone and convert it to inches so I know what size I'm making it. There's a center button down here. Once I hit next, and it'll automatically center the laser for you, and then there's a little play button right up here in the left hand corner on your screen, and that's what you hit when you get ready to do your engraving. Now I'm putting this on approximately 10-ounce leather, and you can adjust the speed of your laser, how fast you want it to be when it's engraving, and you can also adjust the actual laser light. Like, do you want it 100%, 50%, 75%, so on. So it's just kind of a, you might want to play around with that a little bit on some different materials that you're going to use. Now again, I got this specifically for doing leather projects, but you know, you can use it on all different kinds of materials. And if you look up this Two Trees, and by the way, this, they make all different kinds. This is a 5.5 watt. The higher wattage you go on your laser, the more it can do, the more different types of materials it can do. And yes, this will cut also, but and obviously the higher wattage you go on your laser, the higher the price is. So I just wanted to get like an entry-level type machine that I could get started on, see how it works, see if it's very difficult to operate, which it isn't, and go from there. So far, I'm very happy with how it works. So I've centered my laser. I've got my artwork up here, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a set of coasters, a set of 4 coasters, uh, and this is for uh, someone as a gift. So it's very specific or specialized. So you could do this if you went to a car show, for example. You could do this, take this with you. It doesn't take up a lot of room. You could have a little booth there and just change the name in here. So you could just change the name of the inside of whose garage it is, and make a set of coasters right there for them. They could take them with them. So it's kind of neat, very portable, just using a laptop, a Windows laptop, and I'll show you how I'm going to engrave this. So let me move this over here. You can see I already have one of them done. And I'm going to engrave on the leather and then cut them out after the engraving. That way you don't have to worry about it being perfect on your finished product. You can make sure it's centered how you want it when you cut them out. So I already centered my laser. I'm going to go ahead and put my leather where I want it to start engraving. And it does start at the bottom and engrave up, so you kind of need to make note of that. And then once you center your laser, just center where you want your image to start on your leather or whatever it is that you're engraving on. I did moisten this leather to get it to lay nice and flat. I've done it both ways. I've tried it engraving on totally dry leather. It works fine. It kind of does give it a little more of a burnt look to it. I noticed on this, all it does is darken the leather a little bit, like a brown, because this is veg tan. So I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. It does come with some safety glasses because of the laser to protect your eyes. It should not affect you through the lens of the camera. So I'll put my glasses on. I'll go ahead and hit run on the program, and it'll count down, letting you know to make sure you put your safety glasses on. And you can see in real time the speed. And again, depending on what you're wanting your engraving to look like, you can change that speed if you'd like. If you want it engraved deeper or darker or lighter, you can change the speed. Again, what I've done is I've taken different materials and done some experimenting on to see what the speed and the intensity of my laser light needs to be. And you probably can't even see Well, yeah, you can see the laser flashing on the guard. That red thing at the bottom is a guard to keep the laser light from splashing out. It's weird because you can't see it at all with these safety glasses on that they give you, but when I look in the camera viewfinder, I can see it flashing. And you do get a little bit of smoke, and they do make a little cage thing that you can buy to put over the top of it that has an exhaust fan, and they're not that expensive. They're under $100, but it does have most of them have a piece of protective clear plastic. Well, it's not clear, it's like an amber color, and that's protective so that you don't have to wear the glasses. But right now, I'm not using any exhaust or anything. I'm just using a small fan, and it's not even pointing directly on the leather. It's just over the top of the whole unit, just to keep some circulation going. And you can imagine that what that smell is going to be like when you're laser engraving leather. So it's burning that leather, so it kind of gives you a pretty strong aroma, almost like a burnt skin smell. So I set it up when I first got it in the house on the dining room table, and I knew right away after my first engraving trial that that was not going to work. I was going to have to get it out in my shop. So that's where I'm at now. All right, you heard it go off. It stopped. Let's pull it out. And I've got mine sitting on a piece of porcelain tile, 24 by 24 inches, that I bought at Lowe's. And that way it keeps it nice, flat. You know that tile's perfectly flat, and it's not going to burn through this and go into the table or anything. So that gives you a good idea what it looks like. It's pretty sharp, clean. Again, if you do it when this leather's dry, it does look more burnt on there, and this is more brown looking, so I kind of like it when you moisten it better. So let's go ahead and slide this back under here. I'm going to go ahead and do another one. I want to do a set of 4. Let's go ahead and center the laser again. I'm going to go ahead and put that over here. It looks like when you center your laser, I thought it started actually in the center of the piece. It doesn't. It actually starts where it's centered at and comes over. So let's see where this starts. And you have to do that pretty quick if you're going to move it after it starts, because it's going to start burning that leather pretty quickly. So if you don't, then it's going to mess up your image. And again, where to place your leather or whatever it is you're engraving on is going to uh, that knowledge is going to come with time and using the machine. They also make Z-axis rotating machine. It's got two rollers on it that rolls on a Z-axis so that you can do round objects like tumblers or something like that. So that's another accessory that you can purchase. You can see it doesn't really take that long, and it tells you how long it takes for each engraving, and it's saying approximately 1 minute. So I haven't timed that, but you can see it doesn't take very long. And obviously the smaller the image, the quicker it's going to be. And then I'll show you something else real quick after we get done with this and get these prepared. Now it's up to 2 minutes. So it keeps track of how long it's going to take to complete the image. I'm pretty impressed with the cost of the machine and how good of a job that it does, especially with free software. Now there's software out there that you can purchase. I think one of them's called Lightburn, and you can purchase that, and obviously it has a lot more bells and whistles on it than this. This is just a real basic, plug it in, size it up. You know, you can change the speed and everything in it, and then burn it. But for what I'm doing, it seems to be just fine. Alright, once it goes off and stops, I take my glasses off. I can go ahead and pull it out. Give you another close-up look of what it just completed. Again, pretty sharp. And then I have a new brush, and it's a beard brush that you use to put lather on your beard to shave, and I just saved it. I don't use it for that, so I just saved that, and that's what I brush off any excess burnt leather or anything like that. It sharpens it up. Alright, so I grabbed a thinner piece of, it's probably about 6 ounce leather, just another piece of scrap. I'm going to go up here to File, and all I'm going to do is reload the last file. So it'll reload the one that I just used. This you can resize, smooth, brightness, contrast, and then choose, you know, line to line tracing, which is what I have it on. You can choose dithering, vectorize it, center line it, pass through. So there's all kinds of things that you can choose. You can choose quality, and then I'll hit next. And then I've got this set up at 160 millimeters. So I'm going to change that to half that. So it'll make it half the size that it was for the coasters. And what I'm going to do is create a keychain with that. And let me hit center real quick. And then let me move you over here, and I'll get it a little closer this time. So it should be half the size, and I'll make a keychain with the same logo on it, the same design. Again, if I can find my pointer here. Now I did not wet this. I didn't moisten this piece of leather. And the reason I'm holding it down right there is I've got a little bit of curl in it. Just holding that curl down while it got started. Because if you're too close to that curl, then the leather's going to be closer to the laser when it starts. Now it's into the flat part. And I can tell immediately the difference in the smell from the leather being moistened and this one being totally dry. Alright, that took 59 seconds according to the software, and there's what it looks like. So it's half the size of what it was on the coasters, and I could just make a keychain out of that. So let's move on over to my workspace and let's finish these out. Alright, so I've got my 4 coasters here. This one you can tell is definitely more moist. It's starting to come back a little bit. We'll leave it over to the side. We'll do these first. I'm just going to take my stylus here. I've got a coaster from out of the house, and it is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8 square. And what I'll do is I'll just put that down over the top. I'm trying to get it as centered as possible. I thought it'd look good since this is kind of a round design if I had the square coaster. And then I'll take my stylus and just go around the outline so I'll know exactly where to cut. And you should be able to see that outline there. And look better once we get it cut out, obviously. So let's go ahead and do these. I'm going to wait on the 4th one until it's more dry. It looks like it's drying out fine, but I'm going to wait till that dries more. In fact, I'm going to set it over by the fan, let it get plenty of air. And let's go ahead and do the 3rd one here. And these are like anything else, the more of them you do, the quicker you're going to get at it. So we'll set that aside. Take our straight edge, and I want to make sure that I have a good sharp blade in here. And this blade, I'm going to have to move you just for a second. This blade is not near new, so I'll pop a fresh blade in there. Put that. I always keep these plastic containers instead of throw them away. I don't know, different stuff, glue, or this was little packs of Gorilla Glue come in that. And I keep my used blades in there. Pull you back in here. And then when I get it full, I just tape it up with some box tape or some painter's tape and then throw them in the recycle or trash. So let's go ahead and take our straight edge and let's cut those out using our line or lines from our scribe, our stylus. Move that out of the way. And we'll go ahead and we'll just cut these if I can keep from knocking everything over on my workbench. We'll cut these where we cut them apart first, like so. Then we can finish the other dimensions. And this leather with a with a new blade and that leather being a little damp cuts really nice. So we'll get that out of the way. Flip that around. I know my hand's probably in the way because I'm cutting left-handed. But with a new blade, I don't have to push super hard. So there's one. And you could make you a clear pattern if you wanted to out of plexiglass or something that you could just lay on there and you could see exactly where the image is centered. That's up to you, but this seems to work pretty good. Again, they may not all be exactly the same, but you're probably not going to see them all at the same time side by side. They'll be stacked together, and I'll show you how I do that. But alright, so there's those three. Again, I'm going to do this fourth one later once it dries. So, and then I'll take my small beveler, edge beveler, and see, before I do that, let's put a little border on it with our stitching guide here, and let's just we'll just go straight down, turn it, and this is for decoration more than anything, and it doesn't take that long. So you can see it kind of gives it a little bit of border, a little bit of decoration. And we're going to do that to all of them. Then we'll come back with the edge beveler and very carefully straight across. Bevel those 4 edges so we don't have a sharp edge. And then that's what they would look like finished. So I'm not gonna burnish these or anything. I'm just gonna leave them raw. But one thing I am gonna do, and this feels like it's fairly dry now, I'll allow those to dry real well. And I'm going to go grab something and I'll be right back. And this is something I like to use on these coasters. Grab a piece of cardboard here. I haven't used this on anything that's engraved yet, but I can't imagine it affecting the engraving, so we're going to find out. And all it is it's made by Kiwi, or the name brand's Kiwi. It's a SC Johnson product, and it's called Boot Protector. And I use this on every pair of boots, or even tennis shoes or dress shoes that I get. It's silicone protection for outdoors, for work boots and footwear. And what it does is it sprays on, and you let it dry. I normally give it 2 coats. You let it dry, give it a second coat, let it dry. And what it does is it protects it from moisture. So it works really well on shoes, so I thought I'll try it on leather and see. And so far it's done really well, because you're spraying it on leather boots and it works on that, so I thought why not try it, and I've had really good luck with it. So I'll just spray it on, make sure it's covered good, and I'll set that one aside, and we'll go ahead and go to the next one. And you can see how it darkens it back up. Let's pull over our first one that we did, and you can see it's already lightening it back up. So is our second one. So we'll let those set there and lighten up. So let's go ahead. This is dry enough now to give it a second coat. And again, just coating it lightly twice and let it sit flat, let that dry on there, and that's going to protect that leather from moisture when you're sitting a can or a glass, a drink on there. So there's the 3 finished ones. I'm going to redo the 4th one. But I'm not going to put you through that. And then what I do is when I'm done is I'll take a lighter piece, like I made this keychain out of. I'll take a lighter piece of leather and make me a strip, put a snap on it, and make it long enough that I can stack 4 of these together, fold that over and snap it, and that'll hold your set of coasters together. And this is just scrap, so all it's going to cost you basically is the hardware for 1 snap. And I don't know how much I would sell these for with them being custom like that with the person's name on them. I don't know. It's made out of scrap. It only took probably 15 minutes of real time. I don't know how much you could get out of them. Maybe $10 a set, and that's pretty decent. I mean, where can you buy something like that custom made for $10, maybe 20. I'm not sure. Uh, it's whatever people are willing to pay, I guess. But I think they turned out neat. Um, Again, it's the custom part of it that makes it worth it. Um, so people will pay a lot to have their name put on something. So there's what it turned out like. Those will lighten up. They might not lighten up as light as they were originally, but they're going to lighten up and it's going to look really good. So there's the finished product. Alright, so there's the first project on my new laser engraver. And I used it on a set of leather coasters. And again, this is for a gift, but you could do this at craft shows, or you could go to swap meets, car shows, get you a little table or a booth, and make those. People love, like I said, people love to have stuff custom with their name on it. So it's something that you could do with a laptop and a laser engraver that cost under $250. Again, I got that on Amazon. Go check it out. Look up Two Trees is the brand name. Two Trees 5.5 watt laser engraver. Check it out. There's tons of videos on YouTube about them. Go check them out, and they're just really neat. So I appreciate you coming along. Appreciate you sharing your time with me. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And share these with your friend. So, as I always say, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.